Talk at once.
No, that's all right. How are you guys after Virginia, and what are you trying to emphasize moving into Wake Forest?
Well, we're fine. Obviously, we lost a tough road game to a very good defensive team on their floor. I didn't know this going into the game. Looking back at some stats, I think Virginia in the last 6 years are 44-4 at home in the ACC, which is pretty tough. I thought we had some great looks early in that game that certainly didn't go down for us. And when you don't make shots against Virginia, they make you pay because obviously they can control tempo and they're very efficient on the offensive end.
You played 3 ranked teams. Wake Forest is not one. How do you caution your guys to not exhale?
Well, we don't even talk about, as crazy as it may sound, we don't talk about whether they're ranked or not. Because we have tremendous respect for every program in this league, and we know Wake Forest is a very good team and obviously very capable if you don't take care of business and do a great job at home.
You guys only had 7 assists against Virginia. Was that a sign you didn't share the ball as well, or was that, you didn't score the baskets because Virginia didn't let you?
Yeah, Steve. I wanted to think it was because we didn't share the basketball, but as I look at the stats, everybody that's played them, nobody's had over 7 assists against them all year long. I think the only team that did was West Virginia, and they came away with a win. And I think they had 12 assists. I thought we had our chances early in the game. We never really got into a flow. I thought we had some good looks early. We didn't make those shots, and credit a lot of that to UVA's defense. But we're fine. Obviously, it was a tough game for us. I thought our guys competed all the way to the end, and we just came up short.
Now that you've got Markel back, how do you see your backcourt rotation developing and working from this point forward?
Well, it gives us the ability to be able to rest some guys. I mean, when you look at, before this, Braxton and especially Al Freeman, both of those guys were playing a lot of minutes, and I'd love to chop some of those minutes off and be able to get Markel back in.
You've had to go through the transition of bringing Abu back. What's the transition like now, bringing Markel back?
Well, you're right, man. I wish I had the great fortune of never having to bring anybody back, but it's different because we haven't had our group on the floor for long periods of time throughout the season. But Markel will probably adjust a little bit more than Malik did. Obviously, in our system, I think he'll be fine. We'll plan on playing him at some 1 and also some 2. But he was playing very good basketball before everything went down.
Mir generally likes to play taller players. Nobody's taller than Darrell Moore, other than maybe Christ Kamanji at FSU. Is Darrell one of those guys that when he's good, Wake Forest is good, when he's off, they're not the same?
Well, I didn't know that about Amir.
He does like to play taller guys.
You know what? He's good. I mean, that kid is massive. He's a very good basketball player. He is. We've got to do a great job of, number one, keeping him off the offensive glass. But the other thing is, man, if he can get 2 feet in the paint, he's really tough to guard because he dunks everything around the basket. And then on the defensive end, he changes all shots. I think Amir and also Leonard have to do a great job with him, both on the offensive end, being aggressive offensively, and also defensively. We got to do our work early.
Do you have to encourage Amir to shoot 3-pointers?
No. The great thing about the kids today, you don't have to encourage them to shoot threes. I'm telling you that if I allowed every kid on our roster to take threes, then they would. Amir has just demonstrated that he can make them.
He's a guy that your whole team seems to feed off of. When he's going well, it goes well. I think of the Duke game. I think of the Clemson game. And it didn't go too well against Virginia. Do you sense that yourself, that all of your guys get kind of a vibe from him?
Well, we're starting to trust in him. He's a different kid than you guys remember and a lot of guys remember from last year. And so a lot of times with post guys, it becomes if your guards are comfortable with you. And for our guys, they feel comfortable with him. He's demonstrated that he can score the ball inside and out, so I think that they're okay giving him the basketball.
When he's an anchor on offense and you can run things through him, does it also help where you can point to the guards, like, he needs the ball? Like, there's no point in you forcing up a shot when Amir is rolling. How much does he kind of ease the pressure on the guards to force action?
Well, he takes a lot of pressure. When you look around college basketball, there are not a lot of post guys that you can throw the ball inside and they can score with their back to the basket. We're fortunate because of his development and his confidence that we can do that. So anytime you got a guy who can score, you want to get him the basketball. I thought Leonard was the same way early in the year. He carried us a lot of games where we were able to throw the ball inside. So those guys are taking a little pressure off the guards.
What kind of emphasis do you put on playing in-state schools, whether you call them a rival or not?
Yeah, I don't. It's the ACC, and I don't put any emphasis on playing one team over the other. It's for us. Every game is important, especially when you have the opportunity to play at home. But like I told you before, we have tremendous respect for every coach and every program in this league.
Do you have a great Danny Manning story?
I don't. I know he's a heck of a player, though.
Yeah.
And we tease a lot. Playing one-on-one against everybody, and the head coach is playing one-on-one against everybody in the league. I think I'm quicker than Danny, but he's got a lot of size on me. But Danny was a great player. He's done a really good job at Wake Forest, and he's done it the right way. He's doing a good job of building that program.
Did you give a win one for AW speech?
I didn't. No. I did not. His stint at Wake Forest was so short, and if you were able to pull his stats, you would realize that he may not even never went there. He's more of a Marshall guy. He's got better stats at Marshall, and right now it's funny because we won't even allow him to tell the players that he went to Wake Forest. So if you report that, that'll be the first time they find that out.
18 games into the season, what did you like? What do you feel like has to be the priority to improve?
Well, I love the team that we have because they work hard and they're punching the clock every day. And certainly, when you take a new staff and, I'm trying to obviously build a program and build a culture for these guys to buy in of the part of playing hard and giving me great effort is what I love about this team. And, on every night, things don't always go our way. But we play hard, which gives us the opportunity to win games.
Al had a scoreless game the other night. Did you look that bad on film, or what are you talking about that after a game like that?
Yeah, it's 2 games, which is funny, and it's weird. And I'm going to give Virginia a lot of credit. It's going to be a lot of leading scorers that go into UVA and come out scoreless. They did a tremendous job. I thought Al, I didn't think he was aggressive. This is probably the first game that he's probably taken, I want to say maybe 5 shots or less. And I thought a lot of that had to do with their defense and everything else. It's we want to forget about that game as quick as we can and obviously move on to Wake Forest because we got a great opponent coming.
Could this be a game in the 90s?
I don't know. It's I've always said this. If you try to predict what the score of the game is, you're always going to be wrong. A couple of things that I always feel like if you play a team twice, the game's always a different game. We've only played one team twice, which is Clemson. I thought it was a completely different game than it was at Clemson. And so as a coach, I don't try to predict that.
You guys good?
Thanks, guys.
Good.